Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of Film Nerds Hour, the show where we bring you the best thrills, chills, and spills this side of the Hollywood Hills. My name is Nathaniel Shoemaker, and with me as always...
No, Sweeto.
Hello! What'd you think of that intro?
This is good. Now, I think we're just going to have you come up with just some random crap to say every time.
Yeah, probably. I thought of that this morning, and I carried it on my back like a burden.
And then there's me. I'm just like, I'm the black guy who was on the show.
You're the token minority who made the show.
Exactly! Hooray for minorities!
Yay!
Look at everybody, film nerds. We have our black guy.
Yeah, and with when Cleo's on the show, we have our not man.
Our blonde female.
Yeah, exactly.
So hooray for both stereotypes that usually get killed off at the beginning of movies. Sorry,
Hooray! What, are you saying she's a slutty character who gets killed in horror movies?
I didn't say that.
You said females, it's notable that the female that always gets killed first.
No, blondes get killed regardless.
I'm sorry, have you not seen Cabin in the Woods?
Not yet.
Well, never mind. So, the show...
Yeah, I have yet to watch it. There's a reason I've been saving it.
All right, fair. Yeah, I was saying you were accusing. I wasn't implying. I thought you were.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay. Glad that's cleared up. Both of us really like her. She's great.
Oh, yeah, we love Cleo.
Yeah, she's the best. She's the best.
Well, today we have a special episode for you after The Stuff.
Yeah.
Like we said.
I thought we were putting this before.
Oh, yeah, we are.
We can edit that out. Today, we have an episode where we're talking about a seminal classic, because last episode we talked about the car, so why not keep the sentient vehicle wheel rolling, so to speak, with Christine.
Yes, The Sentient Car Life, which was my first time watching it.
Yeah, I'd seen it before, but you hadn't. What was your first impression?
I was very aroused, but not in the crude sense.
Not in the crude sense.
No, I think there is like the visual arousal.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Like a comforting arousal, like, wow, that is just, you tell that there was a lot of love put into its development.
The car or the movie?
Both.
Okay. I was going to say, if you were aroused by the murders that happened in this movie, we might need to call someone.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't talk about what I do. I mean, wow.
So, Christine, what's the model of the car? It's a Plymouth Fury.
Is a 1958 Plymouth Fury.
Mm-hmm. Or is it 57? I don't know.
They use 58.
Okay, they use 58?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, this is up your alley, especially because you definitely know about the novel, which I have not read.
I got it a few weeks ago. I haven't quite gotten to it, so don't judge. Alright?
I'm gonna keep my comment to myself.
Alright, you're aware I own 700 books, right? You think I'm gonna get to the ones I just buy? Fuck no. Alright? Fuck no.
That wasn't what I was gonna get at. I was gonna give you shit for something else.
What? Go, say it. We're on air. Say it.
I would have started reading it already if I would have bought it.
That's you, man. You're the guy who buys a movie and then the night you buy it, watch it. I got other stuff going on. I'm still playing through Assassin's Creed, alright? Give me a second. Like...
I played through 3 Assassin's Creed games already.
Alright. And I just want to say this. I played it before. I just wanted to play it again. Because it makes me happy. And nowadays time is very stressful. Alright? And I need to kill things.
There's nothing like taking a switchblade to the neck.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. And also I want to say... the unnamed person in the background needs to stop doing hand motions. Because it's getting very distracting. Oh, this is a shit show as always. So, Christine, I lent you the Blu-ray and you had never seen it. And I think the word you used was masterpiece, correct?
Absolutely. There is no amount of, I think, really words to say. Because this was just a very well done movie. People had... like on Rotten Tomatoes, which is why I don't always go off based off them, but they were like, a lot of John Carpenter's flaws or cracks can be shown as a director. And I was like, no, I didn't really see it at all. This was a pretty seal-type movie. It was definitely one of those Stephen King ones where you're just like, even if it wasn't Stephen King, it would still be amazing.
I would not say it's John Carpenter's best, but it's still great. I mean, that title obviously goes to The Thing.
But John Carpenter, I don't think it really shows any crack in his directorial age.
No,
not at all. I think it's still right up there with, like, this is great.
The dialogue is different. It doesn't age great.
Yeah, it's a little testy here and there.
Did you write down any of the choice quotes?
No.
Because I can remember a few.
You probably better remembering a few. I was still taken aback by the fact of how amazed by it I was, in truthfulness.
I think one of my favorite... I think I might be misquoting it, but one of my favorites is when they're talking about Lee in the beginning. The main girl.
Yeah.
When they're talking about her, the one guy's like, have you seen the new girl? And he's like, no. And he's like, oh, you gotta see her. She's got the brains of a genius and the body of a slut. And I'm like, all right, well, guys.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm starting to remember kind of stuff like that, yeah.
And he's like trying to impress her when she walks by and he goes, what do you think about adding Red China to the UN? They did that last year. Do you think it was a good idea? Like, he's just trying to sound smart for her, and it's like, dude, no.
Yeah, it was truly cringeworthy, like watching Nick Kroll play Nick Birch on Big Mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going, big dick boy, strong property. That's kind of what I got from this film.
I will say as a warning, because I'm one of those people who kind of cringes at this word, and I know it's like a real big no-no for a lot of people, possibly a lot of our audience as well.
Oh, is it the C word?
Yeah, there's a lot of uses of the C word, man. And while it may be for a pun, it's still very crude.
I think I filtered it out mostly just because I don't...
Yeah. Well, it's they emphasize it as well, because... They're making fun of a guy whose name is Cunningham. You can guess where they put the word in.
Yeah, it's still... it's like even Robin Williams said, that's just a no-no word.
No.
I mean, unless you're really PO'd about something, but it's still like a no-no word.
I don't know. I mean, I used to cringe while saying it, but I've been watching, like, Daniel Sloss, and he's got a whole thing he talks about it, where it's like... Swears in America are treated very differently as they are in other forms of the world. Like, because here we think it's the word. In Scotland, it's the intent, you know? Yeah. And he was like, if I call you the C word with a smile on my face, are you going to think I'm insulting you? Or...
No, well, I don't know.
He's like, it's love, hate, and then he was like, my mother has called me it before. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. It's different here.
Yeah, it's definitely different here, because I wouldn't...
Use that word ever?
No, it just sounds mean, which is why I'm not going to say it. I don't even want to have it on here. I'm okay with an F-bomb.
Even the word bitch. Like, I only call guys bitch.
I call everyone bitch.
Yeah.
Just like Freddy Krueger.
Bitch. Yeah.
I'm sorry, the best voice edit for him saying bitch was Freddy versus Jason. Let me handle this, bitch.
Yeah. What was the first instance of it? It was in the third one, right? When he shoves the girl through the TV? Welcome to prime time. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Ad-libbed line. Did you know that? That was ad-libbed. That wasn't in the script.
No, but that became his iconic saying after that.
Yeah, because he ad-libbed welcome to prime time, bitch. Like, he ad-libbed that whole line. He initially was just supposed to pop out and then just force her in, but he said that line.
See, that was clever.
Right? Robert Englund.
How would you be able to just sit and go, your big break in TV? I felt like that line really fished off. Just like definitely added the insult to the upcoming injury.
Yeah. Which
was death.
Mm-hmm.
Very much.
Well, also that character I thought was just weird. Like, she's so obsessed with being an actress that she's gonna watch an actress get interviewed on TV and try to stay awake to the point where she's burning herself with a cigarette. And I'm like, the frick is wrong with you?
We definitely need to cover the Elm Street movies.
Yeah, let us know how badly you guys want us to do, and we'll put it on the list.
Because I always want an excuse to watch Elm Street.
We want a big tangent as always. Christine, great movie, a lot of language, but that's of the time, you know.
But the best part was the visual effects, hands down.
Yeah.
This proves that it's an 80s movie, and it proves that Carpenter knows people and is a master with effects. And as always, that he's very good with soundtracks.
Exactly. That sound when the headlights go on, it's just like, bing, that.
Well, that was like probably the sexiest part of the movie.
Oh, God.
You're thinking of it in a disturbing way.
I'm scared of the car, Noah. I don't want to do other things to it.
I'm not thinking that way. That's you.
You are the one saying it's sexy.
Because from a director-filmmaker standpoint, that scene where Arnie says, "Show me."
Oh, yeah.
And they do that slow crawl.
How did they do that? Do you know how they did that? Did they break it down and reverse it?
I think they reversed it.
Yeah, that would be the easiest way, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I think they used animatronics to a little bit of...
Yeah.
Animatronics. Because I know that you can also use heat to pull out dents, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's
for cars,
correct.
so you can always... Because metal expands.
Buff it out, yeah. My brother would buff it out by just, like, finding the spot and getting a hammer to pink.
So I don't feel like that would work. I feel like
it works enough.
Enough.
It doesn't look great.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But yeah, no, I think the music, it gave you like a Thing vibe. It was very, as they're pushing into that shot, you feel like the heartbeat of the music. It's got a steady beat. And then just the jazz, the really sensual jazz. It really brought you into the way Arnie feels about Christine. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, I totally get that. Because he's in love with the car by the end of it.
Yeah, which I feel like is confusing, but not. I feel like it's more not just the
he's under her spell.
I feel like it's not only that, but the fact that he invested so much time, too.
Time, money, everything, yeah.
He basically gave everything, and that was the one thing that he had any control over, or any part that he could show for his life with his parents.
Because his parents were very much like, you have to do this, young man, or else blah. I hated his mom straight off the bat. Can I just say?
Oh, no. She was a C word, definitely.
Yeah, well, because, like, the main character pulls up, and he's playing music in his car, and she's like, you know, that's noise pollution. You might as well be throwing toxic waste on my lawn. And he just doesn't respond, which is the only thing you can do at that point, I feel like.
Except for me, then there's me.
Yeah, you would yell at...
Oh, no, I just give a finger.
Yeah, exactly. Even if... They must have been childhood best friends, right?
I think that's what was implied.
Because Arnie's like a stereotypical nerd, like chess club, big doofy glasses.
Think in the novel, too.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple things I did read from the novel that they compared it, like definitely the end game.
Yeah, which we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
but then like his best friend is like the star of the football team, and it must have been like they were best friends in grade school or something.
Yeah. Because usually that's like the exact opposite that you usually do for movies, but I think it said something about that in the novel. Definitely that because they said that pretty much Arnie's only friend is the Jock, which I gotta try to remember the name. I had the names memorized and then...
Yeah, well, and it's like, one thing I wanted to bring up, I'm afraid this movie isn't going to age very well, unfortunately.
It's Dennis. And...
Because, like, let's look at all the main, like, vignettes here. Because there's a scene, one of the most important scenes is in the drive-in movie theater. I think there's, like, 2 of those... Or there's like 8 of those left in this state, you know? They're coming back, thanks to COVID, but...
Well...
Thanks to COVID, that's a weird sentence.
Well, in a sense it's good for once, because people can finally stop streaming everything.
Yeah. And then, like... God, what was the other thing I was just gonna say? They talk about Scrabble, which is fine. But people still play Scrabble, but not...
See, I think it's perfect, though, that if it doesn't age well, it'll give people the chance with the internet to gain exposure.
If they want to, yeah.
I mean, you're going to have kids that are going to look at this movie and be like, what was Scramble?
Yeah.
What was a Plymouth Fury? That car looks awesome.
What was a drive-in garage? Like, at Darnell's. That's no longer a thing. And if it is, I haven't seen it.
They're very rare. They're more privately owned, if anybody owns them at all.
Because most people, like... Because I guess the concept of one of those garages is you bring your car in and you rent out the space so you can work on it yourself.
Which they kind of have stuff like that, but not like...
Well, nowadays, they just have either you do it yourself in your own garage...
Or you go to the junkyard
or you bring it to a mechanic who you pay to fix it for you.
Well,
like, that's a lot more present, I feel like.
You can also go to the junkyard yourself and search for parts.
You can search for parts, but I don't think I've ever seen renting garages.
No, I don't think they let you. I think they might let you do something on the property, but it just depends.
Yeah, it really depends on the joint, yeah.
But no, drive-ins, garages, no, not much anymore. But that'll be nice to give people a chance to step back. Not saying COVID-19 is good in any way. But
no.
I like the idea of people being able to go out and stop having excuses of, oh, well, we can't have drive-in theaters and yada yada, because that's something that I feel like needs to be present.
For sure.
There's no reason that we can't be outside and sit and have a good time.
Yeah, like, one thing I want to see come back, well, it never really left because it's the same thing Sonic does, where you just park, order, and eat.
Yeah.
And, like,
drive-ins are amazing.
Yeah. It's that just experience of just being like, you don't have to worry about if you're disturbing anyone else in the theater. You know, that's always nice.
And you get to bring your own snacks.
Yeah.
So we're not worrying about AMC, no offense, but...
Listen, they do great marathons.
$16 a ticket.
Yeah.
And $19 for a large popcorn and a medium icy.
Yeah.
Is way too much.
I feel like the only time I go to AMC anymore, and this isn't racking on it, I understand how corporations work. It's the real world. It's fine. But I feel like the only time I go anymore is when they do the marathons. Because they let you bring your own shit.
And it's so ungodly expensive. I'm not looking to spend an arm and a leg for two people when I just want to go hang out with a friend in a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not...
And recline in seats.
And I still don't want to split nearly $40 with somebody for a snack.
Yeah.
So that's why, the only time I really go to theaters is like those small theaters, like we over here where we are, we got a small
Andover Cinema, $5 Tuesdays, yeah.
Yeah, and even with popcorn. Well, they give you a free mini popcorn too.
Yeah. I always wear cargo shorts so I can just get as many boxes of candy in my pockets.
Also, you're only paying I think it's 11 or 10 or 11.50.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a large. That's with
a
large popcorn with refills and an icy unlimited refills too.
Exactly. Although I will say there is an extent that I think to bringing your own food, because my friend, he lives in LA. He went to a double feature a few years ago, and during the intermission he smelled this horrible smell, and he looks over and someone had brought Indian food into the theater. And Indian food is great, but that aroma can kill you.
Yeah, no, and I think that's another part of it too, is because it's not to be an insult to cultures, but
yeah, no. Well, and it's it gave him a headache, and he didn't even enjoy the next movie. And it was a thing of do I tell the people who run the place, or do I be a snitch? I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's a large part of it too, because that and everybody likes to complain about the movie theaters, but at the end of the day, I'm I know people work for a movie theater.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit and clean diapers all the time. And,
no, God no.
People are just really, really disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's an evidence we get with gas station bathrooms. I work in a gas station, and apparently the credence is anywhere. Just pee anywhere.
Oh yeah, aiming is an option, regardless of gender.
If you're in a bathroom, you can just go wherever you want. Yeah. I
mean, at least have the decency to aim,
Yeah. Or flush. Why is that not
or a squat over the drain? No, I feel you. I worked in a restaurant. I worked at a buffet.
A buffet? Oh, God bless your soul. Jeez.
Yeah. But
the movie opens with the manufacturing line, Christine, right?
Yeah. Which I wanted to make an FYI for drive-in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
This would be absolutely perfect.
It'd be weird
to watch, because it'd be terrifying.
Well, it'd be weird to watch in a drive-in theater too, because there's a scene in a drive-in theater, so it's a weird Inception mall. But I get, that would be terrifying. Anything with a car. Ooh, that'd be a cool drive-in theater marathon. So The Car, right?
Yeah.
Christine, Duel.
Yeah, anything that has to do with cars, which we will be covering Duel on here as well.
Which I learned Duel is not a sentient car.
No.
Yeah.
It's a driver.
Yeah, it's an unseen driver. Yeah. You see his arms and his legs.
Well, yeah, that I saw, and they credit him too.
Yeah. And then there's one more sentient vehicle thing.
Maximum Overdrive?
Yes.
There was another one too, but I'll think of that.
Also Stephen King.
Yeah, but I think he directed it and it wasn't.
I mean, he's in the movie for a few seconds and gets killed by an ATM
No,
machine.
I think he directed it.
No, he directed it, yeah. I'm saying he's also cameos in it, which is worth it for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they call him Man at Cash Point.
Man at Cash Point, yeah. Yeah. I will say the back of Christine, because every book has, like, the author, it's got him leaning on the car. Like the Christine car that inspired the book.
See, that's cool.
And it says Stephen King and friend.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're on the manufacturing line. It's 1954, correct? 58? Or it would be 58 because that's when the Fury was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we come out and we kind of see all the assembly lines. All the other model Plymouths are white, except for Christine.
Yeah, and everyone's like, what the frick is going on?
And they go to kind of look at her engine. We have one of the workers, and
he lifts up the hood, leaves his hand there. Hood falls down.
Yeah, which is kind of a little, you
could chalk that up to gravity. But
you could. It's just a little odd if it's right off the assembly line. But then again, too.
Yeah.
But then we fast forward about 20 years.
No. We get the black guy. He sits in Christine, and then we hear her talking.
Oh.
Because she doesn't, when I say talking, Christine the car does talk in a sense.
She turns on her radio.
And plays 50 songs. She doesn't do the Bumblebee thing.
No.
Of just random compilations of music. But he, like, this guy sits in there, and it starts playing a song, and he, like, is smoking a cigar and knocks off the tip of the cigar onto the seat. And then it cuts to everyone leaving, and a guy opens Christine, and, like, he falls out dead.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then it cuts to
Arnie and them, which, again, whose idea was it to have a cigarette on a factory assembly car?
Not even a cigarette, a cigar.
Like, why the hell are you smoking it?
Yeah. And I get that the seats are covered in plastic, but still, don't frickin' do that. Like,
you especially shouldn't do it if it's plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic is flammable.
Oh, and also, who's like, oh, this car cut off a dude's hand. I'm gonna sit in it.
Right.
Yeah, hell no. If the hood's wrong, who knows what else is wrong with the car?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially because for some reason she was the only different color.
Yeah, that's suspicious as well.
Yeah, like, you would think that somebody maybe did something purposely to sabotage.
Yeah. Well, what was the thing that gets revealed in the sequel to the car? A guy's soul is chuckied into the car? Is that what it is?
Yeah, they throw him out a window. It's very stupid. It's like Mad Max meets the remake of Death Race meets The Car. Okay. And they blended all three of those movies together and then tried to
one pile of turd
into a mountain of shit. And they tried to get the action-packed feel of the Fast and the Furious movies and Hobbs and Shaw mixed together with all the guns and action and making people into cyborgs.
Exactly.
And making it about death row. And it was just a complete shit movie except for that last 15 minutes.
Yeah, you can't put...
With Ronnie Cox in the actual original car.
Listen, making a casserole is fine. It gets to a point where you add too many ingredients and the flavor's gone. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's like...
You can have a shepherd's pie, just don't add cumin. Like,
learn your recipe and stick with it. Don't try to blend two different spices or two different sides of your flavor that are against each other on totally different spectrum.
Like blending Freddy and Jason into Freddy versus Jason is fine. If they did Freddy versus Jason versus Chucky, that's too much.
No, like they were gonna try and do Freddy versus Jason versus Hellraiser in a second.
Hellraiser? Oh yeah, well I guess the Cenobite he could probably torture.
Yeah,
Freddy.
Pinhead.
Yeah, Pinhead in the Cenobites. Yeah.
Because he was gonna torture both of them.
Yeah. Okay.
It would have been cool, but it would have been a bit much.
Yeah, again, the story kind of falls flat at a point.
Which is what the Spider-Man movies have done.
Yeah. What's the one that they keep saying is going to come out? It's Chucky versus somebody else.
I don't know. Chucky's getting his own series on Sci-Fi, though. We're going to cover that in a Nerd News.
Oh, we are? Okay. Are they getting anyone back? Brad Dourif?
Yeah, he will be.
Yay! Because I loved Mark Hamill in the remake, though. But Brad Dourif is Chucky. That's who he is.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that remakes, and we'll talk about the difference in an episode, too, about the difference between remakes and reboots, because there is a very, very big difference.
We're pulling a Jay and Silent Bob reboot? Awesome.
Yeah, which they do a good job of explaining that, too.
They really do.
Very, very different.
I recommend.
And it has 2 different meanings, too.
Exactly. So we meet our main characters.
Which is Arnie, played by Keith Gordon, for those of you who watched Jaws 2.
Yes.
You know that he played the nerdy kid with the black hair and the glasses who was reading a book, and then they threw water balloons at him. He got very disappointed and threw his book on the back of his book.
That is him.
And he's just sitting there like, what the fuck?
Arnie Cunningham, and what's his friend's name? Because that's the thing. Arnie is more of a main character than his best friend. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because Dennis who's played by, who's his best friend, Dennis Gilder, who's played by John Stockwell. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot.
He was in the climax, and he's in the scenes in the school. But for a big chunk of the movie, he's just in the hospital. And I think we get 2 scenes of him in the hospital for like a few seconds.
It's like 2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that much.
No, you see him in like the beginning of the movie, and then you see him a little bit in the second act, and then you see him like pretty much the tail end of the third act.
Yeah, it kind of shows from his perspective for a bit, and then when he goes to the hospital, we kind of just get Arnie's descent into madness.
Which, I mean, I like the way that John Carpenter did that, because what are you going to do to show the guy at the hospital?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are you going to just have him sitting there all the time and like have nightmares
TV,
about the car? Like
you can jerk off, not a lot to do. I mean, what are you really going to do with a guy that's in a hospital but there's no horror element or some sort of challenge to overcome?
Listen, he was unconscious for 3 days. I hardly think he's jerking off because he probably has a catheter.
You never know, they have external catheters. Yes, they do.
Not back then.
You know,
Thank you. No, I win. So it's like it's how I like to end every argument and discussion. No, I win. So
anyway,
yeah. So they go to school, and you very much get a vibe of like who's who, because Arnie's like, I played Scrabble and my mom wouldn't let me win because they spelled fellatio. Like,
oh god, yeah. And we got that's when we really got our first look at the bullies, especially.
Yeah. Well, we meet Lee, and then we go to shop class.
Yeah.
Which, did your school have a shop class?
Yeah.
Your school had shop, man.
Yeah, we had a welding. We had wood. We have about 5. Yeah, we have a lot.
What?
Yeah, because we do cars. Because we got three stages for everything. Yeah, we know in the episode. We know that you're.
How many language courses did you have? Be honest. 3? Really?
I think it's like 3 or 5. Yeah.
Spanish, German, French.
I think there's a little bit of Italian in there too, and there's sign language definitely.
My school just had Spanish. God, I got ripped off.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
God. So we go to the shop class, and he's getting bullied by, what are these guys' names? I see their faces.
I think one of them is Moochie.
Moochie's the fat guy.
Yep, and then we got Buddy.
I think that's the shorter guy with the fro. Or no, it was Buddy the big guy.
No, Buddy's the big dude.
Big
the big
dude
muscle dude.
Big dude, mutton chops, long hair, kind of a greaser type.
Played by William Ostrander.
He's got a switchblade.
Yep. Oh, yeah, well, that was it. Oh, man, he looks different now.
Yeah.
For 60.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that happens.
Well, I know, but he got bigger, like, in muscle and mass.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the photos of him.
And I didn't even notice him with his hair like that, because I was like, wait, that must be him.
Yeah. So they're picking on Arnie and, like, playing keep away with his lunch, and then he pulls out a switchblade and stabs his lunch.
Yeah.
And there's yogurt in it, so it, like, leaks out, and, like, it's very, very gross. So, yeah, so Dennis hears about Arnie getting bullied in shop. And he goes down there. He, like, karate hits the dude's knife out of his hand and then punches him in the face. Like, he does, like, a palm hit.
Yeah, which definitely William, I'm trying to remember the name, and the name is in front of me. Give me a second.
Are you drunk
Yeah,
and angry?
Buddy.
Right now? Yeah, Buddy.
No, Buddy. He definitely gave me a Henry Bowers vibe.
Oh, very much so.
Like he was like Henry and Ben mixed together.
Or
Patrick. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Henry and Patrick.
He reminded me of the guy from The Blob if he was an asshole.
Yeah, the '80s mullet.
Yeah, which
was very, very present.
Which I don't know why it was ever thought it looked good. I don't know. It's the curls that bother me. It's really what it is.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, but then the shop teacher comes in and like he swears at the shop teacher, and the shop teacher gets him expelled.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah. They say he gets expelled.
No, he learned that he had a knife.
No. Yeah, he found the knife, and then you hear that he got expelled.
Oh yeah, we just missed that part. Yeah, that he was threatening him, and then Arnie finally spoke up.
Oh yeah, he was like, "Was he threatening you with a knife?" And he went, "Yeah."
Yeah. And they tried to make his life a living hell.
Oh, well, they did to a point.
For a time.
Later.
Yeah. Also, a quick note, you'll be happy with Fire and Ice because William also does a voice in there too, I guess.
How do you think I found it?
I don't know. He's in Striker too, which
that's also what I found. It's not available on any streaming services though.
No, we'll find it on Amazon.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
So then Dennis is driving Arnie home, and Arnie sees Christine in a yard. And she's really in bad shape. She's got like 90,000 miles on her, which the mileage counter is a big thing in this movie.
Yeah. Well, for cars back then, that's quite a bit.
Well, it's that, but then it's also a plot point in this movie. Because the more he fixes her up, the more it goes down.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. Little attention to detail. And when we first find Christine, she does not look like she does at the beginning of the movie. She looks like a rundown piece of shit.
It's been 20 years.
And you could tell people did not take care of her.
No, not at all. And you meet the guy who's selling her, who he's wearing like a metal back brace, which is an interesting costume choice.
He looks like your local old drunk.
Yeah.
/ supremacist.
If you put a ski cap on him and a jacket with holes, he could be in Street Trash.
Yeah, pretty much.
He'd be an extra in Street Trash. But what is this line he has? Because he talks about how his brother bought the car fresh off the lot, and it was a new car. What's the line he says?
I don't remember offhand.
It's about new car smell.
So, is it something there's nothing sexier than a new car smell?
He's like, there's nothing better than a new car smell, except maybe 4.
Oh yeah, except maybe for some pussy.
It was very crude. I had to I rewatched this movie just because, and it was late at night. I won't say it's from personal experience, but I'm only suggesting it. Watching this movie with your grandmother, not fun.
This movie definitely did not shy away from the non-social filters of back then.
The crude. Yeah, everyone was crude.
I mean,
it's very crude.
I'm a very crude person personally,
but you don't say that to people you just met.
I have a filter, at least. I at least get to know a person before I bestow my weird, crazy...
Bestow. You're acting like it's the Sword of Camelot. Like, you're swearing.
It's an honor.
It's an honor to have me swear in front of you.
Because then by then I know that, oh yeah, if they can tolerate me, they must be good people.
Okay. We must be good people?
At least, you must be decent folk, at least, to be around.
Alright, okay. Fair enough, I guess.
At the very least.
But he sells him Christine for $250.
Which is Will Darnell. No. Rudolph Jakin?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Which he was named something different in the book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, after he sells Arnie
the car,
which the whole time Dennis is trying to get him
to not buy the car.
Yeah, not to,
because it's a piece of garbage.
I mean, she's literally falling apart, like the bumpers
There's
off.
There's no hood.
Yeah. So I mean, everything is just really messed up.
Yeah.
But afterwards, Arnie still gets it, goes through with his purchase, brings it home.
His parents aren't thrilled, to say the least.
But them being, a-holes and all already, it didn't really matter as much.
Yeah. They blame Dennis, too. They're like, why didn't you talk him out of it? It's like, it's him!
Which I literally thought, I'm like, okay, so are they like, in like, a foster home?
I swear.
Because they never really established that at first. It gets really confusing because
No, they're his parents. They're his biological
No,
parents.
I know. At first it gets confusing because, like, between David picking him up all the time, and then his parents always, like, whenever there's a scene where they see him in there, they're always telling him, like, why didn't you stop it from doing this?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, A, he's not your kid, and B, like, he's not his brother either.
Yeah, it's a vibe of, like, they're saying to him, like, we control him really easily, why couldn't you? Like,
yeah, which, honestly, the only reason that some parents manage to get away with that is just because people just want or need a place to live.
Exactly.
I mean, beyond that.
That's why kids run away, too. Because they're not a fan of that kind of situation.
Yeah. And which Arnie definitely emphasizes.
Oh, yeah, he swears.
Yeah,
in front of his parents. He says the F word.
Well, yeah, he gets he gets really fed up with their shit.
Yeah. So he takes the car to Darnell's, which is the drive-in garage.
Yeah, because his mom makes a fuss about, oh, we don't want to put that in our yard.
It's going to be gross. We don't want it in the driveway. And it's like, ugh.
All right, well, he wanted him to have the car.
Yeah.
And
one of my favorite little bits to really emphasize that this is a crappy car is, like, A, it sounds bad. B, there's no tailpipe, so there's just smoke everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's smoking, like, everywhere.
And then the worst part is he gets up to the door and gets out of his car and goes up to Dennis, and he's like, Dennis, can you honk? Her horn doesn't... And I'm like, your horn doesn't even work?
I do have a case of somebody I know whose horn does not work.
Okay, fair. But it's like, it's just an extra adage of like...
Oh, I know. It's that injury to insult.
Yeah. And they drive it in, and Darnell's like smoking with his buddies playing poker, and like...
Yeah.
He's a stereotypical fat guy.
He's your stereotypical asshole drunk who...
He looks like he was in Street Trash too.
Oh, he did.
He was?
No, I said
he did look
he
like
looked
it.
like
okay.
He was. No, definitely. And the asshole vibe from him too is like off the charts.
Yeah. He said his vocabulary is not great.
Yeah, and he's sitting there telling Artie, "Oh, well, if you do this or we can't smoke over there," which is my favorite part because that's when we get
Dennis is like, "Those men are smoking. You should tell them to stop."
Well, he goes, "Sir, but those men over there, they're smoking. Shouldn't you tell them to stop?"
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "Why?"
Yeah, like, "Oh, yeah, I oughta," and I'm just sitting there like,
You
"Yeah,
can't
that'd be me."
You can't polish a turd.
Don't assume because I'm young or whatever that I don't...
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, like, you don't need to be a dick about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and Dennis flips him off while his back is turned.
Yeah, Dennis has a lot of fun time. Like, fuck this little...
He's a really great character.
Yeah.
I'll say.
He's very close to my personality.
Oh, for sure. 100%. But so then, Arnie, he keeps, like... We jump ahead a lot in this movie, time-wise.
Yeah. We skip about, I think it's 9 months.
Near the end, it's near Christmas. It wouldn't be 9 months.
I thought that's what they said.
Well, because
it's the beginning of the school year.
It's the beginning of the school year, but we get to Christmas near the end of the movie. So it's like, it would be like... Oh, he says it's been... He was working on her for 3 weeks. That's what it was.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's fast.
Yeah.
Well, but then again, he devotes a lot of time to building Christine, though.
We're also forgetting like how long Dennis was in the hospital for. So there's a huge jump in time between that. That's where we're missing. Yeah.
Yeah, and before that even happens, we see the 3 weeks, and Arnie's already fixed up Christine.
She looks decent.
God, you're looking like she's off the line.
Cherry, as they would say.
Yep, she's very, very perfect, and
Darnell gets him to do work for him. Like he hires him to do work.
Well, yeah. Well, their arrangement is that he does some work for him on the side, and he'll let him use all the parts for free.
Because before he was saying he could use the parts, but he's like, I didn't say you could make your whole car.
Yeah. But, which is kind of nice in the background, because you kind of get to see that he really does have a appreciation, though, for Arnie's devotion to his vehicle, and how...
He understands that.
Yeah, like, well, okay, so this kid isn't just coming in here to be like, oh, yeah, I got a car in here, and I'm going to build it up, and I'm just paying you.
He's not... He's
not loitering.
Putting money where his mouth is. He's not just saying it to say it.
Yeah, I'll work on it, or I'll get it,
Well,
no, he's really working hard and actually investing some money in building it from...
Yeah, it's emphasized that that's, like, all he does now, is work on the car.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's blowing off his parents, he forgets that he has to hang out with Dennis to go to the movies, all that stuff.
Yeah, and Dennis is like, even with his mom, they never see him, because once he pulls up to go see what Arnie's doing, he walks right past him or whatever, isn't it? During Halloween?
No, he pulls up to pick up Arnie for the movies, and Arnie comes out, and he's not wearing glasses, and he's like, oh, crap, we were supposed to hang out. I'm sorry, I gotta go to Darnell's.
Yeah, and after that, the next day we see Dennis's big game.
Yeah, this is after Dennis hit on Lee, and she was like...
Yep, and he hit on Lee in the library, and
she was like... He was like, do you want to hang out after the game? Because I'm playing. And she's like, I can't, I have a date. And we find out that the date is Arnie.
Which I can't help but think that's part of the taking off the glasses in the nice car.
Yeah. It seems like it.
It's kind of the irony of this movie because, she ends up hating Christine. But I can't help but think that that's a large part of the reason.
She's with him because the car is impressive?
Yes.
It looks nice. It's a nice car.
I mean, you could tell that he really fixed it up and takes care of it. So, I mean, I know that's part of it.
Maybe she's reading into it and saying, like, that's how devoted he'll be to our relationship. But
yeah.
That could be, but no. He spends most of his time fixing up the car.
Yeah, spending a lot of time with Christine. But another plot point, or another thing that I want to say here, too, is that Lee is played by Alexandra Paul.
Yeah.
Who was also in the 1995 remake of Roger Corman's Piranha with William Katt as Paul Grogan. And Susie Grogan this time around was played by a young Mila Kunis, which I can't remember. I think that might have been her cameo debut. I think, because that would have been a cheesy one like DiCaprio's, because DiCaprio started off in Critters 3. That was his first feature film.
How old was Kunis in that movie?
I think 11.
11? Okay. Oh, yeah, because her first, like, that actress cites her first ever, quote-unquote, acting job as when she was 14 on that 70s show.
Yeah.
But I feel like she cites that more than Piranha because maybe she had lines. And it probably felt more like a job.
She started acting when she was 9. Her first movie was Make-A-Wish Molly.
All right, never heard of it, but okay.
But Piranha came out that same year, so that might have been her second. But yeah, she was super young. Like here, like...
Should I come around?
Yeah, because I can't really do that. Oh yeah, she definitely looks younger than 11 at this point.
Oh yeah,
she looks very young. But yeah, we'll definitely have to do the Piranhas because it is verbatim, pretty much, almost like the remix. I don't know if you've seen the original and the remake; they're pretty much verbatim of each other.
Awesome.
But yeah, I just wanted to point that out that Alexandra Paul played Heather Menzies' character, which was
She's great as Lee in this movie. She's a really good like love interest character because she's not just a love interest. Like she actually does stuff.
Maggie McNown. Or McNarma in the remake.
Okay.
But yeah, she's definitely got a lot of character to her, and she looks different. Because she still looks very, very young. Because she's not that old either. I don't think. No. Is she almost in her 60s or? She is almost in her 60s. She's 57.
Okay.
But she looks quite different for being over a decade old. Though.
Yeah.
She looks a lot older, not in a bad way, but like.
No, never.
She's definitely got that more mature look, kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. And Halloween.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis had like. I feel like she did the opposite though.
Mm-hmm.
She went from looking more adultish to looking a little bit like an H2O. She looked younger.
Yeah,
with the bangs or whatnot.
H2O, and then
Resurrection.
True Lies. She was in True Lies, right? With
but
Arnold
I didn't see
Schwarzenegger.
it. But I didn't see it.
Oh, that movie's great.
So, but yeah, no, she kind of went backwards.
Yeah,
and then she's kind of. If she didn't have the gray hair and like a couple less wrinkles, she looks pretty middle aged.
Well, they really aged her up for Halloween as well.
Well, I mean, in general, even if you kind of look at her now, she doesn't look that old though.
She's 62, something like that. Do you know who her husband is?
Yeah, Christopher Guest.
Yes, I love Christopher Guest.
Yeah, she really doesn't.
He's wrote for some of my favorite movies.
She looks old, but like a young old, not
Yeah.
taken back by age. But going back to it, yeah.
So we're talking about the drive-in, right?
I think no, because we see
Dennis gets an injury at the football game.
Dennis gets an injury after he sees and realizes that Lee's date was Arnie all along.
And they're sucking face. Would that have been the term?
And he gets knocked down. He gets hit really hard with a tackle.
They had to get a stretcher.
And he basically passes out. Yeah, which I thought he was going to get crippled for a second.
Well, he says later that it was like if it was 1 centimeter,
it would have
been paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah.
Which for an athlete, that's gotta suck.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing worse too than having to sit out of the season.
Yeah. Well, there's like people get their knees blown out, but then they're fine after a while. Like almost paralyzed. You're done.
Yeah. Unless you're really devoted. I mean, but I still wouldn't want to test that.
Exactly. Then you gotta like actually study at school so you can get a good job later on, or else work at a carpet store or something.
Even as a person who's going for film, I still wouldn't rely my whole life on that and not learn a bit of life skills.
Another trade, sure.
Just to have something to get me up there, and then something with I do something else on the side. Just have that general basics, so you know.
Yeah, I'm partly upset you didn't get my reference, but that's fine.
It might have went over my head.
Football player. Work at a carpet store. I'm referencing Rick and Morty, you uncultured swine.
It wasn't a football. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the arcade machine where you live out your whole life. I was thinking in 10 minutes.
Basketball. Yeah, Roy.
Roy, yeah. Wow, he's going off the grid with Roy.
No, this guy's going off the grid with Roy. He doesn't have a social security card for Roy.
It's one of my favorites. Wow, you went back to the carpet store after beating cancer? Watch Rick and Morty, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
After Dennis is put in the hospital, Arnie visits him once.
He visits him twice. He visits him
the first
when he
time.
wakes up, and then Thanksgiving.
Yep. And during this time, Arnie's really starting to develop, just even his looks. He even looks more tired.
Yeah, he really does. He's got the exhausted circles on his eyes. Like what's it called? A smoky eye? Yeah.
Maybe. But
yeah, I think so.
He's definitely out of it. He's definitely tired. Like he's just been doing nothing else but devoting his time or being awake a lot of hours of the night.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they talked about earlier on in the movie that this was going to be the year they were going to get Arnie laid, and Dennis was going to help him with that. And now it looks like he doesn't really need Dennis's help.
Yeah, which is the other sad part.
Yeah.
Because
you're losing your
basically, friend. He basically just does like, well, now you're crippled, so we definitely can't be friends.
Exactly.
Because I've got better stuff to do, which is my car.
Exactly.
And in between this time too, we really see Arnie's true colors of how he's changing from the person he was. Because when he goes on his, we assume whatever next kind of official date.
Yeah.
With
not first date, but something.
Next established date. Yeah.
They're at a drive-in.
With Lee.
They're making out. He's copping a feel, and she's straight up. What is it with movies we watch and random close-ups of someone grabbing crotches?
Yeah, I've never gotten that. It's like
Me
people
neither.
want you to get aroused, and it's like, dude, I just want to watch the damn movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, it's either for arousal or pain, because we saw Dennis get grabbed by his crotch to get injured earlier by the fat
Yeah,
guy.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't do that for
No.
any movie, and I wouldn't want to do that to somebody even as acting. Like, what if you do that? That's painful.
I don't care well, in a realistic standpoints as well. Like, I don't care if we're fighting or not. I'm not grabbing your dick.
Right? I'm not gonna give you a wrong message, but also, why does that every movie? It's like, oh yeah, go for the dick. Like,
I don't
fight
think
with
it's
some honor.
I don't think it's every movie. I think it's the fact that there's 7 of those shots in Class of Nukem High.
Well, we got the dick shaft, we got the cock shaft,
Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
or the cock holster.
Watch Class of Nukem High, guys. Watch our review on it as well.
Well, listen to it. I don't have any video for them, unfortunately.
Right. Well, watch with your ears. Film Nerds Hour. Watch with your ears. Anyway, so she leaves the car. She's like, I can't do this. And he's like, why? And she's like, I don't want to sleep with you in that car. So she wants to sleep with him, just not in Christine.
Yeah, which kind of pisses Christine off.
Well,
no,
pisses Arnie off.
Pisses Arnie off.
Because she's like, you love that car more than me.
Which makes Christine happy.
Yeah.
And then after he gets out of the car,
Yeah,
she
she's
starts
eating
to
a
choke.
burger, and then she starts choking, and, like, music starts playing in Christine. There's lights, and, like, she locks the doors, and, like...
yeah, and one part in the book is that it's the old man's daughter who he let choke in there to supposedly...
Well, that's in the movie, too.
Is it?
His 5-year-old daughter died in the seat from carbon monoxide poisoning.
That was his brother.
His brother's daughter.
Well, I thought they said his brother died in there.
They said his brother's daughter died in there, and then after that his wife killed herself because he wouldn't get rid of the car. And then when he did get rid of the car, it came back 3 weeks later, and he died in the car of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Okay.
Dennis talks to the old guy later on, and we get all that exposition. And I want to point out, the old guy is not just wearing a muscle shirt and a back brace. He's also wearing a blue blazer. So
Jeez.
he's a little more fashionable.
And working on his
Selling his house.
yeah.
I'm gonna buy me a condo.
Trying to fix up what piece of crap.
Yeah,
it is.
polish a turd.
Which looks worse than Christine. This
Yeah.
man has no Arnie sense to him.
Exactly. But then, so Lee, someone pulls her out and gives her Heimlich. A
Yeah,
stranger.
which Arnie thinks he's assaulting her, but I think more or less he's just in a fit of rage and wants to target his anger.
Exactly. So then he drops her off and Christine won't start.
Well, Christine started playing weird music before Lee choked, and it's also the fact that when they get to his house, Arnie...
He says to her, we'll go on a date without Christine, just you and me. Like, we'll walk somewhere or something.
Yeah. Do something different, get away from the car. And I think that's when he starts to kind of snap into normality a little bit more again.
But then when he goes in the car, it won't start, and he's like, come on, baby.
Yeah, it kind of... So you could definitely tell. This is one of the things I really liked about Keith Gordon's performance, though. Mm-hmm. It really shows the range of an actor. Because, like, Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, that's why I think I also like this movie so much.
Mm-hmm.
I really like seeing actors with range where it's like you're playing two different people.
Yeah, you start the movie as one person, and you end it as someone else.
And you can go between the two.
Yeah, it reminded me of Joaquin in The Joker.
Yeah, very much.
Because him in the beginning of that movie is not him at the end of the movie at all.
Yeah, he ends up becoming a completely different person in all the worst ways.
I saw that in the movie theater during the first part of the marathon with my mother. How you think she reacted to that movie?
Well, at least having the smile.
Yeah. So then, he parks Christine in the place. Oh wait, did we miss Dennis trying to break into Christine?
No, that comes later.
I thought it came before because he tried to get into Christine and she started playing You Keep Knocking But You Can't Come In. And then she did it again when he parks the car in there, leaves, and then the one guy sneak in and trash it.
Yeah. Oh, that's
There you
right.
go. Yeah.
The bullies.
The
come
bullies
in.
break in, and
But we're missing a part.
We are.
Because after Arnie leaves,
Mm-hmm.
then Lee calls Dennis to see that if he's seen Arnie lately because of how much he's changing.
yeah.
And then they meet up, and that's when Dennis goes out to kind of scope out Christine, but ends up hearing the bullies coming in who completely total Christine.
I think so. That sounds right. Yeah, they total her. They
And
like
they
with sledgehammers. Someone shits on the dashboard.
Yeah, they shit on the dashboard. And then Arnie finds it. Or no, he's walking with
He's
Lee
walking
the next
with
day.
Lee because he was like, "I'm gonna go in my wallet, get it from the car, and then we'll walk around." And he's talking to her like really sweetly. He's like, "We should apply to the same colleges next year, so we can be together." And then he sees that she's destroyed, and when she tries to comfort him, he
goes into a
grabs her
berserker
and shakes her, like
Yeah.
really like doesn't hit her, but close
into
enough
it,
to
yeah.
hitting her.
Yeah.
He calls her a shitter, which is a thing he says a lot in this movie.
For unknown reasons.
Yeah, I don't remember that ever being I've never heard that phrase before.
Also, on a side note, well, I'll say it after, but
All right, but then he gets in a fight with his parents because they're like, "We'll buy you a new car," and he's like, "A new car? I just want to fix up Christine." Like,
yeah, he really is fixated on Christine.
he's obsessed, which is the point. I think that's the spell she has on people.
Yeah, and but before, or no, this is after. So after we see him kind of freak out on his dad, which before he leaves,
He chokes him.
he chokes him because he basically finally gives him his mother a taste of her own medicine, which I didn't feel bad at all. I was like, if you're really gonna be a bitch
Yeah, she
all
was.
the time, you had it coming.
Yeah. But he, like, chokes out his dad, or, like, he puts his hand on his throat and almost hits him.
Yeah, well, his dad provoked it by acting like he was gonna hit him first.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
Arnie finally is like, I'm not dealing with this shit.
No. So then he starts fixing up Christine, right? And she fixes herself.
He walks in to see her,
Oh, yeah, he gives a speech. He's like, "We'll make you right as new, baby. We'll make it all better." And then, like, you hear a sound and he looks over and her engine is fine.
yeah, he hears the engine starting to repair itself,
Mm-hmm.
then looks over and is like, okay, something's up.
Yeah, he, like, looks at it, walks in front of her and says, "Show me." And then her lights come on and then she just fixes herself.
And that is where we get that amazing
special
shot that I was
effect.
talking about earlier. And John Carpenter did amazing with the music in here.
Yes.
Like the strumming of the guitar and the kind of the sensual
Subtle.
jazz.
It's very subtle.
Yeah, and you get a very good jazz cue in there too. Which really kind of expresses just Artie's love of just how deeply intimate he's become with Christine.
Mm-hmm.
As if she's basically
A person.
A person, yeah.
It's like he's a stalker, but he's actually involved with the person.
Yeah.
Like, that's how
It's
obsessed.
very creepy indeed.
She's all that matters. And then we see him. He starts to he kills the fat guy.
That's that's the first time that we see Christine.
The windows are tinted completely.
Yep.
So it's very much a question of, is he driving or is she driving herself?
Yeah, and we before we see the guy run around a little bit trying to escape Christine.
Yeah, which he does a fairly good job, but I kind of get the vibe that she's just
toying with him,
playing
the
with
whole
the
time.
food. Playing with the food.
Oh yeah, I think she wanted to toy with him and be like, oh yeah, so this is what you get for
Yeah.
deciding to beat me up for no apparent reason.
Mm-hmm. I love when she's like chasing him through the small alleyway and she's like scratching herself, like the sparks are flying and stuff.
Yeah, she really just doesn't care, and that was good visual effects too.
But then he gets to like a loading dock and is hiding back there and pulls a knife because he's thinking, oh, she can't go through, but she just drives through, destroys the side of herself.
Destroys everything, which my first thing is like, oh god.
Yeah.
No, but I'm like, she could repair herself. But my whole time I'm like, but prop car!
Yeah, exactly.
No!
Yeah, which I will say, like, depending, because she wasn't going that fast when she was going in. If he really wanted to, I feel like he could have hopped on top of her and, like, climbed over.
He was a bigger dude, though.
Yeah, that is the thing.
I mean, not to be insulting.
But then we get the detective, which is a very underplayed character, I feel like.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
He's a great actor.
He's in Alien.
I really got the... I don't know what else he was in, so if you're making a reference.
He was in Alien. He was the guy with the hat who found the cat and then got killed. Have you never seen Alien?
I have.
Yeah.
No, that's not the old man that we were talking about earlier, though.
No, we're talking about the detective.
Yeah, the detective...
Because the fat guy got killed.
So George is the old guy, George LeBay. So they didn't change his name.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I said that they changed his name in this, and you said
Christmas?
that was true.
Oh, right.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so Harry Dean Stanton. Yeah, I was gonna say he was also an alien.
He's an alien. He's in a lot of stuff.
He's not actually.
Well,
he doesn't get credited for a lot of stuff.
That's the thing. He's in stuff. He's just never credited. Lucky was his last movie he ever did, which I thought that was really good.
Unfortunately, he's passed.
Yeah, it's 2017.
Yeah,
sad to see. But he was in Pretty in Pink as the dad.
I haven't seen Pretty in Pink. I know what it is though.
Have you? Is the only you've seen Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen John Hughes movies before. Okay, good. I don't have to disown you. No.
My dad wasn't that much of a monster.
Exactly. No, so he starts investigating Arnie, and he's talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Mooch, they had to scrape his bottom half with a shovel because he was cut in half."
Yeah.
And to which Arnie responds, "Isn't that what you're supposed to do with shit?"
Yeah, which doesn't help his case.
No.
At all.
No. And then one thing he says is that the color of Christine, they don't make that color anymore.
Yeah, which I was trying to figure out what he kind of meant by that.
Like the color isn't manufactured anymore. That shade of red.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I just found it weird that he brought that up of all things.
Well, because
he's trying to figure out, get in his head a little bit.
If he restored it that fast,
true.
how would he get that color in the first place?
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. But so then, is it then that we get that car ride with Dennis and Christine? Or later?
No, a little later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Because it's towards the end.
Yeah. So he kills the other guy then, right?
Yeah, basically he goes after the
main guy, Buddy.
Buddy, and then takes out two of the others. Christine starts stalking them through a light, and then ends up ramming.
She's got her rights on him.
Yeah, in which he tries to psych her out and then run away like a little pussy, which was kind of funny.
Yeah. He gets out of the car and he's like, "Come on!" And then she just destroys his car. And what I love, whenever Christine hits another car and moves back from it, she carries it for a little bit.
Yeah,
which is what would happen.
She grips it.
Yeah, which is what would happen.
Yeah, you wouldn't just stop and
then just reverse and you're fine.
Right. So that was cool. It was those little details that really made that movie.
Yeah, just little bits. But she pushes his car into a gas station, which kills one of the guys because he gets crushed by that guy's car.
Yeah.
And then gasoline leaks and the gas station explodes, which kills the other guy. And Buddy's just kind of
working there, yeah.
Buddy's just kind of standing there in shock because both of his friends and his car just blew up.
Yeah, which is really a good taste of his own medicine.
And then Christine comes out on fire.
Which is terrifying that the car was just on fire.
Yeah, and driving. Which, there was an actual stunt driver in the car when it was on fire, right?
Yep, they tinted the windows black.
So he couldn't see at all.
Yeah.
Which is, maybe that's why he hit he hit some stuff.
Well, I mean...
That and for effect?
I feel like he probably could see, because it could be just one way, too.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I thought they were saying on the dead meat thing that he couldn't see.
It's possible.
Yeah. But she's on fire and chasing Buddy down the road.
Yep, and then
she runs him over.
She toys with him first a little bit.
Yeah, she's kind of like falling by him slow while he's running.
while he knows that she's on fire, so it really gives you that sense of that's just
There's
creepy
nothing
as
you
shit.
can do. There's nothing you can do. This is your end.
And this
you
is
have
your
to savor it.
punishment
Yep.
for fucking with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she finally runs him over
Yeah, and
and
we
lights
get-
him on fire.
We get a great, like, on fire mannequin. Or stuffed person.
Yeah, well, they could have done a fire suit too.
Well, it looked way too limp to have been an
That's
actual
true.
person.
That's true.
So then Christine drives back to Darnell's, and she's just smoking
Yeah,
and charred.
and charred, and that's when Darnell kind of finally gets suspicious because not only does Christine just enter,
Yeah, not only does she look like that,
but she just casually drives slowly, like nothing's happened. And then,
it's also that he knows that Arnie has his car. So Arnie's not in the car.
oh yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
he thinks someone stole Arnie's car and went for a joyride.
yeah.
So he grabs...
Oh, that's right, and that's why he grabs his shotgun.
Yep. And he opens the door and no one's in there. And then he sits in the car, which I feel was questionable.
Well, I feel like if I had to give anything for the reason he did it,
Mm-hmm.
is more like, well, he was already intrigued with the car.
Yeah.
But I think he might have just been in disbelief too, that he literally
Like,
just
what?
saw the car.
Mm-hmm. Drive on its own.
Yeah, and so casually too.
Mm-hmm.
And then just slowly pull back in the parking space, like,
Nothing's going on.
yeah, ever so carefully. So I think part of it was also shock, like, did I really just see what I saw?
Yeah, exactly. And he sits in it, and then the seat lifts itself and crushes him against the steering wheel, which was hard to watch, I felt like.
Yeah, no, that's not a good way to go, because if you've ever scooted your chair up too close to the steering wheel.
Yeah, not only are you claustrophobic, but your ribs are breaking. And it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
And he didn't deserve that. He
No.
was a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. He was a character. But I wouldn't want anyone to go like that, you know?
Yeah, no. I wouldn't want anybody to go like that either.
Yeah.
And that's when Arnie really feels bad, too, because he's sitting there.
He didn't want Darnell to die.
Yeah, he's just sitting there like, that's not right. And that's when he starts to get... Oh, he's got a little bit of sanity,
A little, for like a second.
but I really think it really was that being next to Christine that really just...
Yeah. Because the detectives are there and they tell him that they found Darnell in her seat.
Yeah, which is kind of like...
And that buddy
Well,
and the other guys
how?
died too.
Yep. Excuse me. And another thing to know is that Christine's completely clean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's very... No burns, no scratches, nothing.
Yeah, so that's also the other creepy factor. But the other thing, too, is that the detective asks Arnie for the receipt because he said that he was just out with Darnell's car and gives him receipt for everything.
Yep, all the parts.
Which he had asked for the receipt for the red paint initially.
Yeah, but he said he threw it away.
Yeah. So that really kind of amps up the weird factor in Arnie's case.
Yeah. But then he picks up Dennis, right?
He goes to pick up Dennis.
Dennis insults the car, which he's not happy about.
Yeah, and that's when he starts speeding and like going
Yeah.
on the different sides of the road.
He
and,
like takes his hands off the wheel and then it turns by itself to that, and that's when Dennis knows that the car is. That's when
Possessed.
it's confirmed for him. And he was saying he does this whole monologue about relationships and how if you give 100% to someone, then that person will give 100% to you, and there's nothing in the world that can stop you. And he's like, I didn't know you felt that way about Lee. And he's like, I'm talking about Christine, man. Me and her against the world, nobody else. And he's like, what about me? And he goes, that's up to you. Like, he's basically saying, if you want to be my friend still, you can. But if not, fuck you. Like,
yeah, but don't get in the way of me and
Yeah.
my girl.
Exactly. And it's interesting how they filmed that as well, because they had like a stunt driver do those driving scenes, but then they were actually driving, but they weren't driving like that when they were doing the dialogue and stuff. Yeah. I would not be able to concentrate.
That would be freaky. No, I think that's probably what the actual terror of expression was like.
Yeah.
We're gonna die. We're gonna die in this car.
Well, and Dennis
This
is
isn't even a movie
notably
anymore.
terrified. Because he's like hitting the floor like he's trying to hit a brake that's not there, and like his face is all scrunched. Like he's terrified. when he's driving on the other side of the road and taking his hand off the wheel and
Yeah. But it was really well done scene.
really,
And the lighting, the moon lighting for that as well.
Oh.
Is it me? What is that?
I hear it too. You're not having a stroke. So then Dennis, don't we then cut to Dennis writing Darnell's Tonight on
Yep.
Christine?
Yep, he scratches it
Yeah.
under her hood, which not such a good idea given what you've just seen. Because if she really just wanted to go,
And then
Hey,
Lee's
fuck you.
like, you think Arnie will come? And he goes, if he doesn't, Christine will. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. They don't want to hurt Arnie.
they don't want to hurt Arnie. They just want to get rid of Christine because they know that Christine is like, well, now Arnie's my
Yeah.
bitch. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. They know he's better than that.
Like that.
They know it's the car that's doing that to him.
Like that psycho girlfriend that's like, this is my man's.
Exactly. And
You know, there's one specific state where that's probably more probable.
yeah. So then they break into the garage and he hotwires, it's not an excavator, bulldozer.
Yeah, bulldozer. And that's when Christine shows
Yeah,
up.
he's like, you go ahead, close the garage when she gets in here. So you wait in the office. And as she's going to the office, Christine's lights come on, which means she's been there the whole time.
Because they see one car, which we can presume...
It's covered in stuff.
We could presume is probably Arnie
Yeah.
driving the other car to make it look like someone is coming
No,
up the street.
I think it was just a random person.
Oh,
Because
was it?
Arnie flies out of Christine later.
Well, yeah, I know. But if Christine was sitting there in the dark, they still wait. They take a minute or two.
That wouldn't
Well,
have
yeah,
been
because there's
possible.
only one entrance. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, she's there the whole time and almost runs down Lee, but she like jumps on some scaffolding or something like that, like a ladder type thing.
Yeah, just in time.
She
for
grabs
it
onto
not-
some tires that are hanging, but then they fall and she falls on the ground.
And that's when she runs and she ends up hopping on a ladder. Or, no, does she up on there first? No.
Well, Dennis hits her with the excavator. And Christine gets that cool look where it looks like she has fangs.
Yeah.
Because the front comes off and it's like torn and it looks really, really
Creepy.
rad.
Which, just would have given her red lights. That would have been even more terrifying.
Yeah. I have her hit some paint or something. But so then they're having a weird fight-ish thing.
With Lee really trying not to get hit.
Lee gets in the office and then Christine drives at the office, but she hits the office because brick walls.
Well,
And, yeah.
first, we do learn that Arnie is in the car because...
Oh yeah, you see his face. And he yells shitters.
well, because Christine turns off her light, goes back into the darkness, and then you hear her repairing herself.
Mm-hmm.
And
you
then,
see him like crazier than ever.
with like basically black eyes
Mm-hmm.
at that point, which was a really, really interesting shot.
Yeah, it was.
And that's when he rams the office when Lee's in it, and you see him.
Fly through the windshield, and then he's got a big shard of glass, and he pulls it out of his stomach.
Everybody, not just children, this is why you wear a seatbelt.
Wear a seatbelt.
And do not be playing on your phones while you're driving.
All right, well, we're getting into another semantic. But also, can I add something else? If you got something lodged into your stomach, don't pull it out. Wait for a paramedic to come to remove it, because
thought
that's
it
how
was-
bleeding starts.
I thought that was in his heart.
It was in his chest.
Yeah, I thought it was just low enough to be like under his ribs in his heart.
It might have been. That might have been the implication.
'Cause
But
that's
I'm
what
saying
you
in general, if you got things lodged anywhere,
Oh yeah, you
don't
wanna just
remove them.
Pull them out.
Yeah, no. Because that's how bleeding happens. But, so then he, like, dies, and the last thing he does is put his hand on Christine.
Yeah, and rubs down the letter V on the front of it.
He touches it. Don't say rubs down. That sounds more phallic than I'm sure you intended.
It did. I didn't. It's this. Why does it have the letter V on it though? Was that something?
Whatever. What? It was a Plymouth Fury.
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering why it had a V on it.
Pause. I think it was for aesthetic. I'm guessing. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah. So, but basically after that we get Lee.
She gets back into the excavator with Dennis, right?
Yeah. Well, no, she tries to run over there, but Christine keeps trying to hit her. So what Dennis does is he moves the scoop of the bulldozer.
And kind of corners her.
Kind of corners her so that way he can move it next to the big door. So that way every time Christine goes to ram into her,
it just hurts herself. Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually we get to a point where Christine goes back, just gets pissed off, tries to fix herself. And that's when we see Dennis
run her over.
We see Lee hop in and then Dennis and then run her over completely.
And she's repairing herself while they're running over. And
halfway, and then they're like, okay, we need to run her completely over or she's not going to stop.
But then it cuts after they, like, crush her. They breathe for a little, and it cuts to her getting crushed into a box.
Yep. At actual junkyard.
And they're there with the detective, who they presumably told everything.
Right. And the creepiest part, too, which is some good, is when we get the zoom and we see...
No. The creepiest part was when you hear the music. Because it's a normal thing that Christine, she only plays 50s music. Ever. But when she's crushed in a box, we start hearing rock and roll songs. And they're like... And then you see a guy in the background walking with a jukebox.
Yeah. Which I was like, wait a minute, this is the 50s. And I was like, oh wait, no, this is the 80s. This is just 50 songs.
This is 78, 79, yeah.
So...
And they're like, I hate rock and roll.
Yeah, Lee's like, I just hate rock and roll.
And then they leave, and then you see her...
One of her grill. Part of her grill.
It moves a little.
Yeah, moves out a little. And then we go to the credits. But yeah, that was an amazing movie.
I'm glad I exposed you to it. I wish I could have been here when you watched it for the first time and seen the classic Noah reactions.
I was very intrigued.
Like, oh, ha, he, eh.
The special effects were very film arousing.
Mm-hmm. I get it. This movie gave you a director boner. We got it already. Okay.
Creative boners are great. They're figurative, not physical.
As long as you don't flip the table. All right, so Christine was really... Yeah, we both enjoyed it.
I love Christine. It's definitely up on my favorites.
Yeah. Not my favorite Stephen King adaptation, but still great.
No, it's definitely up there in some of the best.
It's up there for sure. Misery is still my favorite adaptation.
Which we will cover eventually. But yeah, I'd say that between like that kind of era, I'd have to say that David Cronenberg's The Fly and Christine are John Carpenter's Christine are two of the best looking special effects and actor portrayals of the main character, just both being based off concepts and characters already.
I think, the reason you were confused that you thought it was during the 80s is because the movie came out in 83.
Well, yeah, and most movies, depending, they come out during those time periods because it's easier to work with that than going... It's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, I mean,
nowadays... You don't have to get modern stuff. You get vintage stuff.
Nowadays, you have to go look for a small town. Like, to do Stranger Things, you have to go look for that.
Yeah.
Have 80s cars. Because you can't have a 2001 Malibu or something in the background.
Why do you think the newer version of it was made in... The first part was made in the 80s, so they could do the second part modern time?
Oh, I know.
Because originally... First part
the book
was
takes place in the 50s, but
and then 90s.
They still didn't even do it in the 50s in the Stephen King miniseries because you still would have had to go back, and that was still a budget killer.
Yeah,
because then you have to account and
well, no, and especially nowadays, if they did 50s, they would have had to do 50s then 90s, as opposed to 80s then modern time, and it would have been doubly as difficult.
Yeah,
for sure.
But definitely a great movie. You guys should check it out if you haven't.
Where can they watch it if they would like to?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Let me...
Did we ever say that spoilers were happening?
You know what?
I feel like it's given. I feel like it's given at this point.
It's very given. I always like to say, if it's a popular pop culture movie, I'm not saying that Christine isn't, but if it's definitely like one of those, like... I don't even... Like, if it's Back to the Future or something, you know?
Our first episode, we spoiled Gemini Man. Like, if we're spoiling that, we're spoiling anything. Yeah, you talked about it. You were talking about special effects in the final scene.
Whatever. It had already been out for a while. Who cares?
Oh, the internet will still get mad.
Yeah, well...
I've seen people on the internet get mad because somebody spoiled, God, what is that movie?
Hey, be careful with my pods.
Fine. Someone was spoiling, Citizen Kane. That movie's from 1923. Like...
Yeah, no.
If it's from 100 years ago, don't get mad.
If it's like Soylent Green, besides the big reveal that it's people, yeah, spoiler alert.
You just proved your own point.
I
fucker.
know, but like it's been so done before.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Like if it's something like Star Wars, okay.
okay. Yeah.
If it's something like that, where it's like the big reveal is that, spoiler alert for all of you, and for Star Trek 2, just in case, you all have something.
As though there's forgiveness.
Anyone who would be
When
mad, stop
Darth
listening.
Vader says, "Luke, I am your father." Now, spoiler for the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, exactly.
Spock dies.
Shatner yells no. Or Khan!
And in the alternate version, and Into Darkness, spoiler alert, it's the roles reversed.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then, not Shatner. Now you got me confused.
And in
Kirk dies.
And in the goat version, he goes, meh! Alright.
Yes.
That was a great family joke. But where can they watch Christine if they want to watch it?
To watch it, you can watch it on Sling TV with a premium, Fubo TV with a premium subscription, Philo. I've never heard of half of these, so who the heck knows? Maybe they'll give you a virus, or
Amazon?
they're random adult sites. Who knows?
Well, now we're going to get sued by Philo. Thanks for that.
I
Thank
wasn't
you.
referring to just...
You just said it would give you a virus. What do you think that
No,
is?
I said I don't know what any of these sites are. They could give you a virus.
Your implication. It's not... Okay, fine. Continue, Professor.
All right, for all of you that want to sue me, I'm just coming up with jokes, man. Have a
Oh,
heart.
they don't care. They get free money. So Amazon, is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon Prime for $2.99, Vudu for $2.99, YouTube for $3.99, and Google Play Movies and TV for $3.99. AMC, it is free with cable TV.
Yay!
And for iTunes, it is also available for rent or purchase.
So a lot of places.
So you guys have a very big selection to kind of see what you want.
Let us know what you think.
And yeah, so thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to do some more car things like Maximum Overdrive and Duel as well, which is one of Steven Spielberg's very first films. I think it's his very first film, actually.
It is.
So, it came out in 1971, but I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen like the first part of it, and I was already like, wow, this is very interesting.
It's pretty great.
So, once again, this has been Film Nerds Are with your host, Noah Sweeto.
And Nathaniel Shoemaker. Follow us on the socials.
Which we have Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
So follow us on there, and then eventually we'll have a Facebook page, and pretty soon here we should have at least
Twitter.
a YouTube channel as
Maybe
well.
a Twitter. Maybe a
Yeah,
little
maybe
birdie
a little-
Twitter.
Little Twitter.
Yeah.
So
And have a good night.
take care of yourself, guys, and
Yeah.
we will talk to you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.